Kev, are we allowed yet to say or give any clues even to something that we might be doing after Christmas in sort of late February, early March, or not? Is that going to be a no? In which case, I should rewind this whole thing.
I think there will be something going on.
Yeah.
Probably at the House of Photography in London. Yeah. Probably on the first weekend in March.
Yeah.
Probably involving podcast recording.
Yeah.
And beer.
Yeah.
And yes, but everything is still a little bit to be confirmed.
Yeah, but what we're saying is just put the weekend aside just in
Diarise
case.
it.
The FujiCast.
I think we swerved that quite well.
Did all right.
Yeah. Right, it's the last of the recorded ones. We started doing this a few... well, they're always recorded. What am I talking about? They're not live. but pre-recorded before Kev went away to Spain. So he's currently in Spain. He's had his 50th birthday. How was it, Kev?
It was amazing.
Yeah?
Thank you very much. I am now 50 years old, 50 times around the sun.
Yeah.
Successfully. Well, mostly successfully. And yes, I'm very happy to be in the 50 club.
Well, I am in the 50 club, but you see, when you get to 55, I remember getting to 45 and thinking, oh no, I'm closer to 50 now. Every day that went past. I've done that now. I'm 56 this year, and now I'm closer to 60.
Yeah.
I can't believe. I remember working out at school how old I would be, or what the year would be when I turned 70. And it's just brutally close now.
Awful. I know, it is awful. I don't think about it. No.
Bury your head in the sand.
Correct.
Talking of which, how's the sea? Look at this link. This is almost planned. How's the sea and the beach been?
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Very hot, very nice, very relaxing, very therapeutic.
Yeah. You're not coming back, are you?
No.
Welcome to the FujiCast. You and your questions that you've been sending in via the Facebook group. You've been very good. I'm saying this as if I know you have been, but you probably have been. Send your questions in still to click@fujicast.co.uk. Thank you very much. Also to our sponsor, pick-time.com, who They are our backbone when it comes to sales after shooting our weddings, because we both use them, myself and Kev, for showing our wares to the world and to our brides and grooms and all those that have attended the wedding after we post process the work.
And a whole load of FujiCasters use it as well now,
yeah,
because they sent me some stats.
Oh, did they? Are you looking at stats now?
No, I'm not now, but they have sent them to me in the past. I'm not looking at anything now. I'm looking at...
But you look like you're sort of deep in...
I know, I'm just...
Considered.
I'm looking at pictures of the seaside.
Kev, we're supposed to be doing the sponsor message.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yes. Thanks for enabling me to go to the seaside big time.
That's not the way you do a professional.
No, but they have sent me stats in the past, and a lot of FujiCasters are using it, and I do sometimes get a couple of questions about it in terms of it seems very Americanized.
What?
But it's not. No, it's because they have got their settings incorrect. It's actually...
do they mean because a lot of the print solutions that come up are American companies?
No, usually I think...
You can choose what you want.
By default, I think it uses US dollars, okay. And... I've had a few questions where people have said you can only use US dollars and then only PayPal, and actually if you go to the settings you can use Stripe and Sterling, and a lot of the labs, I only use UK based labs, of which there are loads. It's very much set up multinational, and also I think if it's not already there, I think they're certainly planning to do translated versions for clients in different countries.
Right, well, like the Isle of Wight.
Yes.
So pick-time.com, and then use the code that we have, which is FujiCast. We went through this last time, didn't we?
Yeah.
All uppercase. We don't believe it has to be, but just do it to humour us.
Yes.
All uppercase, FujiCast, and you will get 1 month free. Not even we got that, Kev.
No, I know.
And you're now 50. You should have had that for your 50th birthday.
Should have done.
Yeah.
Yes. I feel the pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel the pain in Spain.
You go first.
We were doing James Saul's questions, weren't
correct.
we? Should we sort of lift off where we left off, or should we do another one first?
No, let's lift off where we left off.
Okay.
Why not? Otherwise that'll confuse us even more now we're both in our 50s.
I'm doing it in reverse because you told me to do that. Yep. So I've started with the questions at the end that he sent in. He sent in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've done 1, 2, 3, 4. This one's
8. He sent 8.
Yeah, 8 questions. Oh, he was getting his money's worth.
Blimey.
Yeah. This one we can answer really quickly, and we could have done. Really, we should have done this last time because we talked about culling and stuff like that. Roughly, how many hours does it take you to edit a wedding after culling? Oh no, it's the edit stage after culling, so it's not the same question. How long does it take you, Kev, to edit a wedding after you've culled?
About 45 minutes.
Right, that's it.
Half hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on the size and all that kind of stuff, doesn't it? But
takes me less than that. It takes me 10 minutes.
Yeah, because you send them to your editor. Yeah.
Actually, that's not true, because then when they come back, I do go through every single picture and I do make little tweaks.
And I suppose, actually, yeah, if I'm thinking, like, that's probably a little bit disingenuous. But certainly, you know, not long. No, you know, I'm not thinking more than an hour, hour and a half.
It's not because you're being slip, slap, slosh.
No, it's because I've got systems and processes in place. I use smart collections like they are the best things in the world for my editing workflow.
So how do you use smart collections for your editing workflow?
I've got my smart collections set up to enable me to go through selections of what's going to be color, what's going to be black and white. It will move it to another number, which means that part of it's done, but the editing's not done. Then I can run my presets on it. Then I'll eyeball them all. Then I'll move them to another number. Then the publishing section of my smart collections allow me to mark which ones are going to be on the blog, all of that kind of stuff. Now, for a lot of people will be using AI, like Imagine AI, for example.
Have you used them?
Yeah, I've used them. I've got my own talent profile on there.
Oh, of course you have.
Black and white.
What a stupid question.
But because that talent profile is based on my own black and white stuff, I don't use that.
That's a bit weird, using your own talent profile.
Yeah, I don't, because
do you not?
It's based on my own editing.
Right.
So I just do it. You know, you would use that if
you
can't do the editing somebody else wants to be. So a lot of people will do that, and that will free up a hell of a lot of time. Yeah. But yeah, pretty much not long. No. Not long. Culling sometimes takes longer, but yes, it's absolutely not about being slapdash. Yeah. And you know, I love the new super AI denoise in Lightroom. That's amazing. Yeah. Although I only really do that to images where they're beyond. I like noise in my images.
Natalie wrote to me the other day, and she said that feature wasn't working for some images I turned out in XH2S. Although I did say,
so were they turning up pink?
I don't know.
When she did it, did they come back pink?
No. Or maybe she made... Well, is that what's been happening?
So a lot of people were having issues with that AI denoise thing where the results were coming back pink.
And the fix for this is...
The fix was to do with the graphics processing. So I had it. I switched off Lightroom using hardware graphics processing, and it stopped. But obviously I wasn't happy with that solution because I want to use the hardware graphics.
Yes, of course you do.
So I updated my graphics card driver, and then it worked.
I will tell Nat.
Could be that.
Okay. See, it's like I wrote a question in.
It was.
Yeah. Neil, one for me. Do you use True... I'm not used to this. Do you use True Tone on your matte display, or do you turn it off? I turn mine off, as it seems to muddy the colours. I have not found that problem at all. Sorted.
I'm looking at your Mac display now. It looks nice.
Yeah.
It's very, very crisp. I do like it. What's that then? What's that big one in front of me?
I don't know. Well, that's... the machine, you mean, not the picture.
No, it's the BBC News.
That's BBC News. What's happening in the BBC News today? This will be totally out of date by the time we get to it. That's an iMac Pro that you've got there.
Right. And is the iMac Pro, is it inside the monitor?
Yeah.
Right. So you can't get an iMac Pro and use a different monitor.
Well, you could connect it to it.
You could have another monitor separately. Right.
And that's how I've got the BenQ set up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is a normal iMac 27 over here.
And that's not a glossy one, because they went through a period of making ridiculously glossy screens, didn't they?
It is glossy, but it's not,
Maybe it's just the room.
I don't use that one for editing, having said that. The one you're looking at there is one used for... not really used for editing.
It's a very nice screen. Very nice.
See? I'm turning you on to Mac.
No, you're not.
I am. I make a new Lightroom catalogue for each wedding. Now, again, this could be, by the way, for... I know, and I said this last time, I know, but I'd just like to repeat it in case you didn't listen to the last episode. I know sometimes it might seem it's wedding-centric. Both of us are wedding photographers primarily. But you can apply your genre to any of these... Well, most if not any of these questions. I make a new Lightroom catalogue for each wedding. This helps me keep them ordered and tidy. Sadly for my personal family photos, it's a horrendous untidy hard drive mess. as I end up never having the time to sort them out. How do you organise your family photos? So a Lightroom catalogue for every wedding makes perfect sense. That's the way I do it. I assume that's the way you do it.
Yes, absolutely. And I would...
And where does that catalogue sit?
Severely reprimand people who didn't, if they're working wedding photographers.
Yeah.
Which catalogue?
You put it within the folder of the wedding.
Yeah.
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 Because I know some people that have them separate. They have a catalogue separate folder.
What? It's like having your sink in the garden.
Is it?
Why?
I've got one in the garden.
Yeah, no, like one you use.
We've
Keep
got
it in
flowers
the
in
kitchen.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that just makes my brain explode.
So that all makes sense. So that he's doing it that way. But what about the family? Because of course you're taking family photos all the time.
I do exactly the same thing. So I have one big family catalogue, which actually has literally everything. It even has old mobile phone pictures from friends from when we travelled.
So this is right back from 2000 and whatever when you got your first camera.
Way back. I mean,
so all the pictures from Spain at the moment, the ones from the summers all those years ago, they're all in the same folder.
Everything that's not classed as a commission is in here in one big catalogue.
Okay.
Even the pictures of my ex-wife, all sorts in there.
What?
Yeah, Gemma's ex-husband. Because he was my best friend.
I tell you what, he didn't send you a 50th birthday card, did he?
No.
Hey?
Nice chap. Yeah, so it's all in one big catalogue. I have that organised by year and by month. And then inside each of those months is event. So, for example, 2023, August, inside there will be Spain. But that Spain folder will be full of all sorts. So it'll be full of my drone footage, my GoPro footage, my pictures, everything. All of the files, though, the physical files, are also in in exactly the same structure. So sitting on my machine, which is also sent up to sync.com, and it's also sitting on that 36 terabyte rated machine, is a folder which says personal. Under that is 2001, 2002, 2000. So the files. Right. So what I typically do is when I've done my culling or whatever, I've brought them into the computer. I don't bring them in via Lightroom. I do the culling or whatever in Photo Mechanic first. I drop those images into a folder. On let's just say right, hypothetically, I'm just coming back from Spain, which I'm not coming back from, by the way, but if I do, I've got all my stuff for my Spain holiday. So I go to my computer, I open up Windows File Explorer, I go to 2023 in File Explorer, not in Lightroom. I create a new month, and I do it I do 08.August, because that keeps it in date order rather than alphabetical order. Then in there I'll create another folder called Spain, and I'll drop all of the images into there. Then I'll open up the Lightroom catalogue, which at this point will not be showing those images. I right click on the top level folder and I just choose synchronize. Then it brings them all into that Lightroom without moving them or shifting them or anything like that.
There we go.
That's it.
Years of it.
Bob's your Lightroom uncle.
Yeah. What's Don McCullin got to do with this anyway?
What?
Well, you said one of Don McCullin.
Oh, that's awful.
When you get to be 56, Kev, these jokes flow.
That is terrible.
I'm quite proud of that. I'm quite proud of that.
That is good. It is good. Yeah, it is good.
I think he only has one question left.
Whoa.
We've got through these quite well. This year I have some 40... What? What's he doing that we're not doing right, Kev? I have 47/48 weddings. Does that mean he's forgotten where one is? I'm not quite sure. Am I doing your wedding this year? Because you might be the 47/48th.
Is that what he wrote? I'm not quite sure. 47/48, I'm not quite sure.
No, he didn't write that. He said, this year I have 47/48 weddings.
Right.
It probably means he's in the middle of booking one on.
Correct.
Yeah. With a large number of those over the summer season. I've already started getting some horrendous pains in my old knees, especially after several full days back to back. For example, I have 3 weddings this week, today, Monday, Friday and Saturday, then 3 next week. I'll tell you what, Kev, I'm doing this wrong. What am I doing wrong that he's got all these? Has he stolen my bookings?
You're charging more and doing less. You're doing the right thing.
Well, we don't know what he's charging, though. Don't give me that. That's the look that Sam gives me.
That's the answer. I'm telling you now.
Sam gives me that look. I don't need to answer because I've told you.
I'm telling you now.
This knee pain, I'll get it the right way round, is new this year. No pain last year. Normally it's just sore feet. Is there anything you do to help recover after a few weddings in a row? For me, I know shooting less. Oh, here we go, Kev. See, now you can look at me and say, told you so. For me, I know shooting less and charging more would help save my knees.
There we go.
But I think my price is reflective of my current level.
It's not.
Let's get to that in a moment, actually, because that's quite interesting. Knee pain. What do? Get new knees. Do it on the NHS. Wait 4 years.
James, and he's a tall, stocky, fit.
Careful, Kev.
No. I'm being conscious. You know, he didn't look like you. Put it that way.
I have perfect stature for a.
No, he's a tall and heavily boned person, but in a good way. In a good way.
You are so burying yourself.
No,
here.
I'm not. He knows what I mean. He's not fat. He's definitely not fat. But
big bones.
He's a heavy, tall, big lad. You know, he's a big lad.
Has Kev buried himself here? Answers on a postcard too.
So I mean, I used to have big problems with my knees, but not at weddings and stuff like that. And I started taking cod liver oil.
Oh, right.
And that sorted my knees out for judo.
Well, did you spread it on your knees or did you drink it?
I stick it up my nose.
Did you?
Yeah. No, little tablet, little capsule, little sepia capsule.
Good for joints.
Yeah, it seemed to work.
Yeah.
That might have been a what's the word they call it?
What is it, bouquet chicken? You're absolutely right. Move on.
No, I can't move on until I know that word.
Oh, really? Do we have to go through this? A couple of weeks ago, we did this with an Instagram post.
It's on the end. It's on the tip of my.
What is it called when you're not taking the actual medication? That might be good enough. Medicazione. Oh God, no! There's just another load of questions now.
This is what happens when between us our grand age is 106.
Fake medication. No, I'm going to get all sorts of stuff through Google now.
No, that's not the right thing to be typing in.
No.
Oh, what's the word? Everybody around the world is screaming at the radio now, at their podcast thing.
Tablet that isn't real.
iPad.
Oh, that's almost as good as my McCullin joke.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Oh no, what is it? I can't believe it.
I don't know, Kev. I know what you mean. It's the placebo.
Placebo.
Yes.
That was it. 1980s band as well. Yes. It could be the placebo effect.
Oh right.
There we go. Right. Phew. Or it might not be, but anyway, for the knees, that's what I do. But yeah, I mean, if you've got bad knees, You're just unlucky, aren't you?
I've noticed my knees. I did a lot of walking a few weeks ago in Wales, in Snowdonia, and when I was coming back down, I think I hurt myself quite a lot. Coming down a mountain is harder than going up because you use your knees to stop your forward motion, and that is just like they're not built for doing that.
No,
I needed walking poles.
The other thing to consider is one of my senseis at judo. He's older than you, even, I think.
How rude!
But he's as fit as a fiddle, and he does a lot of yoga.
Yeah. Oh, does he?
Yeah.
I like yoga. Yeah.
I've never done yoga in my life.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about I like plain yoga.
Yeah, with strawberries in it. No, he does yoga.
That's what Sam calls her Kia, by the way. You know the one out the front with the white. She's got the little. Is it Neo or Rio? Rio.
Yeah.
I can't even think of the name of it anymore because she doesn't call it the Rio. She calls it the Kia yogurt because it's got a red top and it looks like one of those strawberry tops you put on a yogurt. So he does yoga.
Yeah, so that could be something to consider. If it's a real problem, I don't know. We're not a medical podcast, so I don't really know. Yeah. But the answer is to shoot less and charge more. Yeah, anyway,
I think so. Yeah,
that'll sort the problem out. And that rubbishness about that ridiculous notion of thinking that my prices aren't worth anymore. A, it's wrong because I know his work, but B, you only have to look at it's simple economics. It's the simplest form of economics. Supply and demand. If you put your prices up by a little bit, you should, in theory, shoot a little bit less. What you won't do is end up with no clients.
People are scared though to put prices up, aren't they? Because they're thinking, if I put my prices up, then I'm not going to get any work.
But that's not true. Yes, if you go from
what percentage?
£1,500 to £3,000, whatever. Yes.
Well, that's 100%.
Yeah, I know. Then you might be in trouble.
What percentage are you suggesting? Is there a safe percentage to put prices up to test the water?
So what I suggest people in this situation do is they start off each clean year with the price that they think they're worth, which they're not, by the way. But the price they think they are worth. Once the first 5 bookings come in, pop it up by 5%. When the next 10 bookings come in, 5 bookings come in, pop it up by another 5%.
Right, yeah, okay.
And actually, in theory, what you'll do is you'll find your equilibrium at some point.
Yeah.
You'll find your magic part in the middle. But it doesn't come. It's not as easy as saying, I think my work is as good as this. It's not just your work. It's your marketing. It's your commitment. It's your effort. It's your editing. All of that stuff is relevant. But actually, in most cases, you also have to take into account, and this is massive, and we know James has got a young family because he told us that.
Yeah.
You've got to take all that into consideration. 50 odd weddings a year is,
I was shooting 50 10 years ago.
Yeah, I know, and look at you now. Knackered old wreck of a man.
Yeah, look at me. It's awful. Oh, I just come and live with you in Spain, in the West Wing?
Yeah. No, seriously, and I don't want people to think, oh, it's all right for you, you're in Spain, all that kind of stuff. We all started in the same place, and I in my first year I did 69 weddings, my first full year.
Good Lord!
And that was ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And I would never, and I vowed then never to do it again. Yeah. And since then, I've never really shot. I mean, on a good year, perhaps I reached 30. Well, I would consider that a bad year, really. 20 to 25 has always been my happy number, but I've always had to price myself.
You put your prices
to support
up, haven't you?
My prices have gone up over the last kind of year or so. Yeah. But again, that's because I'm trying to control a few things. So, listen, if 50 weddings are breaking your knees in half,
it says
something's got to change.
Yeah, absolutely.
Regardless,
you need to take on the situation of a Charlotte.
Oh.
Rampling, really. Doesn't really work. Charlotte Rampling, my favourite actress.
Oh, God. I've never even heard of her.
Charlotte Rampling?
No, I thought your favourite actress was Winona Ryder.
Oh, actually, no, that's true. Yeah, she'd be my third favourite actress because Jodie Foster's my second.
I'm putting Charlotte Rampling in now. Oh, yeah, I recognise her now.
Yeah.
An icon of the 60s. Oh, yeah, so I suppose you would have been watching those films then.
Oh, thanks very much. Let's move on. James Souls has had a large percentage of the last 2 shows with his questions, but they were really good.
They were good questions.
They were good. Right, it's your turn with Facebook. It seems like 3 years since we had one from Facebook.
Right, I've got a question here from James Souls.
And he says, who is your favourite actress?
Actually, this is from Daniel Kiss. I always love it when he writes in because I just think, what a wonderful name.
It is, yeah.
But we have had this kind of question before, so maybe we'll just be brief with it.
What's okay?
Hi guys, what was the most useful or best photographic advice you received in your early days, and what advice would you now give to rookie photographers? Charge more, shoot less.
There is that. I'm trying to think of...
don't start trying to think of a word.
Placebo. We got it already. One of the... I don't know how early this was in my... certainly for weddings. And we've mentioned this before, but since we're doing a question that we've sort of mentioned before, I remember Giles saying to me, shoot on your own. Trust yourself. Have faith in yourself. You don't need to be surrounded by lots of other shooters. That was something he said to me. Slow down was the other one, wasn't it? Slow down. I have a very methodical approach to my photography. I don't run around everywhere. I certainly don't look like a headless. I'm methodical. I'm slow. I'm measured. Slow makes it sound like I don't have any. But I'm just. I think I'm calm at a wedding.
Yeah, I have seen some people, videographers I've worked with and stuff, who's just seemed like a panicked wreck, sweating profusely.
Barry. There's Barry.
I don't know Barry specifically. It's
Barry. Every Barry ever. That's
right. Okay, Barry. Poor Barry. That kind of. Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's a good piece of advice. Just relax.
You will see more when you are calm. And
thanks, Dalai Lama.
Yeah. But Giles, I'll take that from Giles because he's shot in various war zones. And, if you can be calm in a war zone when everything else is going on around you, there's a poem like that, isn't there?
Yeah, there is.
Then I think that's fairly worthy advice from him.
Yeah, and I think, it's very good advice. I think for me, I don't really recall people giving me a nugget of wisdom. I'm sure they did, but I don't recall it sticking in my mind, and certainly who. But you know, I think the lesson that I learned early on by looking at lots and lots and lots and lots of photographers is that, and I found myself doing this right at the beginning, was thinking I must do it this way because that's what this superstar photographer's doing. I must have this bit of gear because that's what this one's doing. Just do it. Yeah, do it in the way that, pretty similar to what you just said about doing it calmly. Do it in a way that makes you happy and achieves the results. Don't necessarily follow the crowd or the industry. It's
very difficult, isn't it, not to be swayed by Instagram, etc. Because because
we'd all have those black and white, flash, full-on camera, out-of-focus pictures now.
Well, we talked about this with a friend of ours a couple of weeks ago, didn't we? And she liked that. She's and I'm not going to say her name because it seems. But we had a very different reaction to the photographs, didn't we? We were a bit, is that what's in now?
I think there's an element of, if it's done purposefully for an artistic point of view, because it is very on trend.
Yes.
However, if it's just done lazily and because of can't be asked, and just think that running around at a wedding with a flash on the camera, snap, 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 a million pictures is the way to do it, then I think that's wrong, personally. But you know me. I like to sit on the wall, leg either side, kicking people in the face.
Do you not choose a fence anymore?
Oh, yeah, no, all the fences blew down with the global warming.
Do you here's one from Brad Wakefield. Do you think you're shooting your best work? Now, James had a similar question to this in some respects, I think, but do you think you're shooting your best work? Personally, I feel like it's a bit up and down. I wonder if I was shooting better earlier in my career, just amusing. Now, I think, just amusing, not just amusing as in funny. But I think that when you first start shooting, you think, "Wow, look at that! Oh, I'm so pleased with that." And but as you get used to your work, then you don't get that same wow factor. I don't think you're shooting any work, and I know your work, Brad. I think you're shooting with the same quality that you ever did, but you're just not so surprised like you once were.
You see that a lot in the family photography industry. No, I'm not in any way, shape, or form saying that I'm better or worse than anybody. There are some amazing family photographers out there. Many that, a lot, all of them, in fact, might a lot better than I am. However, what you do see happens a lot is, somebody gets a camera, they've got new kids, they get a camera and they take pictures and they're reasonable.
Yeah.
But to them, they're beautiful because they always will be, because they're family pictures of their own. And then, the mums, the dads, the aunties, the uncles say, "Oh, these are great, and you could make a business of this." And then actually they're not strong enough to form a business, but they start marketing themselves and they start going on the Facebook groups and they start putting pictures of themselves and their kids at the beach and all that kind of stuff. And, it's not genuine enough, but they think they're the best pictures in the world because people are telling them they're the best pictures in the world, and they feel they're the best pictures in the world, which is where we all are, which is what you said, is where we all started. But then you get a certain maturity, I think, and you start to analyze the style, substance, business from a business point of view, and then you kind of move through that.
And you grow all these new abilities to have things like imposter syndrome.
Yeah, all of that, all of those anxieties and everything that comes with it.
Which you didn't have when you started because you had the beautiful naivety when you first start shooting.
Yeah, exactly. So there's something wonderful about it as well.
You always have beautiful naivety. The naivety of youth is the best possible thing that you can have. I know it doesn't want to be misguided, but it's certainly a driver.
Yes. No, absolutely, yeah, and grow from it. Yeah. I think from a very personal point of view, and I'm talking just about weddings, I think since COVID, I'm shooting stronger work than I have before.
Right.
But I hope that
I was going to say why, but that seems a strange question.
It's subjective, isn't it?
Gut feeling,
I'm happier.
Or people telling you?
Perhaps it's the way I'm editing. Perhaps it's maybe it's because I'm more comfortable in my own style and skin. I don't know, but I feel that way. But then I also hope that in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, I look and I think I'm shooting better now than I was 5 or 10 years ago.
You won't still be shooting weddings in 10 years, surely.
No, you're right.
You'll be here in Spain.
That's right.
There'll be just you in a pool of your own sweat.
There'll be just
what a horrible feeling.
Wrinkled up old man.
Who's that over there? Is that Kev?
I'm going to set up a judo club in Spain. That's my dream. Yeah.
Really?
No, it probably won't happen, but that is my dream.
Right.
So yeah, that's the answer. I feel like from a weddings point of view, I'm shooting strongly.
Yeah.
Have been for a while, stronger.
Yeah.
But then that's only natural, and it has to be the case. You don't ever want to be thinking, from a client delivery point of view, at least. Now, if it's things like street photography, or if it's personal photography work, landscapes, whatever, then you will have your ups and downs. And I go out and do street photography, and I come back thinking, well, that was terrible. I'm never doing that again. Sometimes I come back thinking, oh, I had a great day. But it usually depends on the light and the movement and everything. There you go. There's a very roundabout answer.
That's a good answer.
Got my legs on both sides of the wall.
Yeah. I think we have time. I like this new sort of. I think this it's it might be a slightly shorter one still today. I think this new slightly shorter thing, could that work every week? If we had a slightly shorter show every week, then could we go back to weeklies? Do you think?
Yeah, we could potentially, but I think we have to see how our workloads pan out. Maybe
we'd be doing the same amount, but we'd just be cutting it in half. You see, the James Sauls approach.
Okay. Bish bash bosh approach.
Kev is giving me this look of don't you dare speak anymore. Right, Facebook.
Maybe.
Come on, Facebook.
Maybe. Okay, Facebook. Gareth Cooper. Hi, guys. You touched on the subject in a show recently. Now, this was what will be 12 weeks ago.
God, right.
Can you share your post-production workflow from downloading the images from camera to exporting from Lightroom or Photoshop? We've done that, haven't we? Photo Mechanic.
Yeah, well, we can do it quickly. Photo Mechanic. Make yourself put it into your folder. Lightroom, because we both use Lightroom.
Separate Lightroom catalog per wedding.
Lightroom catalog per wedding. Edit, output,
deliver.
Go
to the pub
via pick-time.com.
Via pick-time.com.
Go to the pub. There we go.
Yeah. The reason, honestly, Gareth, we're not belittling the question, but we have in the last couple of weeks answered exactly the same thing. So your best bet, Gareth, if you haven't off and gone to listen to another podcast, is to listen back to a couple of shows previously, and you will have it. I will give you though an emoji with lots of hearts coming out of my head as a favour. Shall I read another one out quickly? Yeah, because I'm looking at the questions I've got left on email, and they're quite long ones. I think we should do these when you return. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Looking for a quicker one as well then. Yeah. I was just about to read one. Actually, it's we have a wedding booked this summer at Farnham Castle with approximately 75-day guests. Can you do it? So I think I've run out of those shorter questions. Okay, Paul Stevenson, aka the bearded man photography. Oh, right. Says, good day, sirs. Here is a question that may seem simple. How do you blog? Let me expand, he says. Do you make notes on the day? If so, what sort of things do you note down? Do you use a template? If so, is it self-made or via a web page app? How do you select the images? How much do you write? What are the key things to include? Do you blog everything, every wedding? Many thanks from a non-blogger and wannabe blogger, Paul. Well, I'm a wannabe blogger because I haven't blogged properly for ages, and I've got my nice news site, and it's doing okay for me, but I really should be blogging. When I did blog, yeah, I know. Well, for a while, didn't we have this conversation for a while that blogging didn't seem so important? Not from me, you didn't. I'm sure I would never have said that. I'm going to look this up. When did Kev say? It might have been that blogging seems less prevalent, yes. But I absolutely 100% think it's very important. I enjoyed writing blogs, and we've gotten over this problem now that Squarespace is not so optimizable, is not so preferred by Google, haven't we? Now that was never a thing, was it not? No. Well, it was when we talked about it. No, it wasn't. Am I pretending that we've had conversations? Yeah, because these are things I would never have said. So Squarespace, I'm sure you said once upon a time Squarespace was not as good for search engine optimization. No. WordPress has more plugins, right, that allow you to do more things, right. But that's nothing to do with Squarespace being less optimized than WordPress, because all Google looks at is the HTML behind the page. It doesn't have a little tag on it that says this is a Squarespace site. We'll rank it a little bit lower. It's not. Anyway, so what was the other bit that you said? Did you also say once upon a time that you should have no more than 250 words? No. That's Yoast said that. Oh, Yoast. And he said 300. Did he? Yeah. I'm going to have to listen more. This is my problem. This was my problem from school. The other day, and it's underlined. Well, I remember when I used to teach you religious education in school. You never listened once. I went on an aircraft the other day that the Pope flew in, but that's a whole new story. We'll do that another day. Wow. Sam brought, and this is why I never listened in school, or really at all, very well. I think my mind is like a million miles an hour trying to think of other things. But Sam came back the other day with 2 windscreen wipers. And what were they called?
I'm not sure this story is very interesting, actually. Shall we go over the windscreen wiper story?
No, go on.
Let's wipe it away.
You can't not do it now.
No. Well, I thought she brought back wipers for her car and my car because there were 2 packets.
Oh.
So I went about changing the wipers to find out that there weren't enough wipers. So I threw the ones off her car away.
Oh.
And
then you were wiperless.
And yeah, only to find out later on that she said, no, I fitted my wipers. These were for your car. I actually had really nice wipers, she said. You've just put the cheap ones on mine.
That's love for you.
Anyway, so blog-wise, how many words then? Come on, let's drill down some facts.
None of it is true. No. So
does it matter anymore?
No. I don't think it ever did. So Yoast plugin for WordPress is what most people get this idea that 300 words is the magic word count. But you just write as many words as you've got something to say. You can always tell a WordPress blog post that has been written with Yoast in mind.
Yep.
Because the last usually 50 words or so is complete and utter bull while they're trying to pad out the 50 words because Yoast is telling them they need 300. Yeah. And I'm not belittling the Yoast plugin at all. It's excellent and it does do a lot of good things for WordPress users. But that idea of target, it's not a target. It's kind of like you should be writing this kind of thing as a minimum. Boom, bish, bash, bosh. So the way that I do it is I don't make any notes on the day. I very rarely. I remember pretty much every wedding if I'm looking at the pictures, bits that I need to write about.
Yep.
But I do have a formula. So the first part of my blog post talks about the venue. The next part talks a little bit about what happened, which often I just keep that very straightforward. Funny speeches, blum, 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 blum. And then the end is calls to action. I will put my photo film, my PicTime photo film, which of course PicTime make very easy for us to do, embed that straight into my blog post, and then I will put usually the same images that are in my photo film are the stills that I put into my blog post.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all good and done. That's fine and dandy. Next, this is where a lot of people will kind of not be doing things they won't be doing. Next thing I do once it's published is I take that URL, I put it into Google Console and get my indexing started. Yeah. And then the next thing I do is I'll go to my Google Business Management page and I will upload the images that I've taken from there. Then everything comes together.
Right. So you're not just putting pictures and text on a Squarespace page?
Well, mostly. But yeah, there's bits and
you're doing
pieces
a lot
afterwards as well.
Behind the scenes with Google, aren't you?
Yeah, it's not a lot. Just a couple of clicks.
Yeah.
But yeah. But I honestly like Instagram and SEO are where all my business comes from.
Right.
They're word of mouth.
Yeah.
And podcast listeners.
Yeah. I'm definitely listening in class next time I come to one of your things. I mean, when it comes to blogs, I don't write in a very SEO way, as you well know. I like writing, and I'm perhaps a little more poetic than I should be. But in terms of how many pictures you put in, Kev, is there any relevance to that? I mean, you put in as many as you need.
Obviously
you've got to give them good alt tags and stuff.
Yeah, all of that stuff.
The reader has got to be reading them.
All of that stuff is relevant. There's a load to it, but the on-page SEO. But ultimately, when it comes to the pictures, we have to find a fine line between the fact that Google wants fast-loading pages full of text.
Yes.
But we're not selling fast loading pages full of text, we're selling photos.
Yes.
So just put up the photos that you're proud of, the ones you want to see. Make sure they go through something like Tiny PNG to be optimized. And then just don't worry too much about it. Don't all of those tick boxes and stuff that Yoast does, just do the basics, do them well, and I think you'll be fine. That's not to say that if you are using Yoast you shouldn't be, because it's all very, very wise and good advice. You don't have Yoast in Squarespace, and it's totally irrelevant. But yeah, put your content together. Make sure you're writing for the audience.
Yes.
Put your pictures together. Put your title together. Put your URL together. Put your description together. Put your meta tags in your alt text, I should say. Put your Google Console in.
Tags and categories?
No tags and categories. I don't do any of that nonsense.
I remember a conversation. I do remember this one conversation we had a long time ago, saying just don't do that.
Don't do it.
Once upon a time, it was relevant, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there's certain websites where it's still a relevance, but I don't think it is for us. And it just hinders. It just ends up. Well, actually,
I suppose it's useful in a tag tree, isn't it? If you want to search for a venue.
This is one of the benefits of Squarespace over WordPress, out of the box at least, in that it hides the tag categories from SEO from Google, whereas WordPress doesn't, and so you ended up with a lot of duplicate content penalties. But that's where something like Yoast would come in, click of a button would sort all of that stuff out. So I don't really worry about that. However, on my F16 element, which is now on my main website, categories and tags are relevant because people like to click on a camera name and look at all the posts from that. What
about links? I'll press my theme button. But what about links? How many? If you're putting links, does Google like to see links outside into other? It likes that sort. I mean, obviously, it likes a link to come back to you.
Yeah, of course. But it wants to see you.
Find it a good site for it to come back from.
It does. Yeah, you should be. You should link out to another page on another website if it's relevant.
Yeah.
So, if it's a stately home wedding, I'll normally link to the Wikipedia page about that stately home. But I won't put a link in specifically because I think, I need to put a link in there for SEO. The moment you think anything you doing this for SEO,
then that's wrong.
Then it's not going to work. Well, it's not going to work, but you're going to end up over optimizing probably.
Well, happy blogging, and that's it for another week. Kev, now this means actually that's it for your holiday. You are on your way home very soon.
Or am I?
Wow.
Actually, if there are any of my clients listening for my 5 weddings in September, I do fully intend to be there.
But if there weren't any weddings, you would not be coming back.
No, I would be, because I've got to go to Jersey on judo tour.
Oh, are you? Oh, did you hear that? That was Kev's shoulder.
Yeah, that was my elbow.
Oh dear. Well, keep sending your questions in to click@fujicast.co.uk. Of course, you can join in via the Facebook page as well. We will see you in a couple of weeks. Maybe by then we'll even be able to tell you the news that we want to tell you. The news that we want to tell you. There we go. Let's click. I think I've got a little glass here. I can click the final few Thavathas.
TC.
There we go. To Kev. Enjoy your trip home, Kev.
Thanks.
The good news is, as we're recording this, his holiday's just to come. So anyway, we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time. Adios!
Bye-bye.